For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, and our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Time for your Saturday tailgate party, as we will take a look at some betting previews for the Saturday portfolio, brought to you by Joe Duffy's Picks. 20-7 football run, 3 college football wise guy plays, 5 college football majors. At offshoreinsiders.com, Joe Duffy, the top sports handicapper since 1988. Now let's take a look at some news and notes. Western Kentucky versus Illinois. This total opened up at 60, and now it's down to 51. The weather is fine. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Illinois coming off a game which they barely edged Ball State, 24-21. Western Kentucky won 31-17 to Eastern Kentucky. They failed to pressure the quarterback, though, in that game, and that could prove some problems here. Western Kentucky 0-6 straight up to the Big Ten. The last one was in 2005, losing by 3 to Illinois. Western Kentucky quarterback Mike White threw for 4,363 yards last year. Western Kentucky lost 116-yard rusher Anthony Wells. They dropped 46%. They lost 46% of their offensive production. Historically, that's a regression by almost half, and almost half of the time by a touchdown or more. So they should regress based on all the talent they lost. They averaged 44.7 points per game the last 3 years. They've got a new head coach in Mike Sanford playing their first road game. Illinois wide receiver Mike Dudek broke back. He's back after missing 2 years at wide receiver. He's a very talented wide receiver and should be a big addition as he's back in the lineup. Illinois freshman Mike Epstein rushed for 54 yards on just 11 carries. Nebraska and Oregon. Oregon had practice time disrupted because of hazardous air conditions. Yes. And Joe Duffy's Picks has a big play on that game, and it's at offshoreinsiders.com. Louisiana Monroe and Florida State. Florida State starting quarterback DeAndre Francois, of course, a Heisman contender. He's out for the year. True freshman James Blackman takes over. He's considered a major drop-off. Fade teams off of a loss in a game which they covered by at least 16 points is 236 and 178. Now that would say to go with Florida State. A bubble burst angle that says to fade highly ranked teams off of a loss is 73 and 46, so that would say to go with ULM. But truthfully, that particular angle is actually much later in the season. The rule of thumb for the bubble burst is the higher they go, the harder they fall. So that's both in the rankings, but also as far as the number of wins they have under their belt. Georgia and Notre Dame. Georgia starting quarterback Jacob Eason is out, but highly touted freshman Jake Fromm makes his first start. And it's going to be at UND, not an easy place for anyone, much less a freshman making his first start. Many believe Fromm, though, is the better quarterback, as Eason's freshman year had mixed success at best, and there are some who think that Georgia is better off with Fromm. Continuing with Offshore Insiders news and notes, Oklahoma and Ohio State teams ranked 7th or better and road underdogs of 7 or more, just 6 and 10 against the spread. That would say go with Ohio State. TCU and Arkansas. Arkansas opened up as a favorite, but now TCU is -3 and 59. Going with home teams off of a win of 36 or more is 595 and 425, including 67 and 42 in their underdogs, although only 48 and 61 straight up. Teams averaging more than 39.5 points per game, and the total is less than 60, is going under 603 and 478. That does apply to both teams. TCU has not won on the road against the SEC since 1995. Arkansas running back Raleigh Williams dominated TCU last year, had to retire because of an unfortunate neck injury. New starter Devois Whaley rushed for more than 600 yards, though, last year. Arkansas, 2 extra days rest, but TCU had their starters, very few play more than 20 snaps in a tune-up game. Such teams with 2 extra days rest, are only 185 and 191 against the spread at home. But all in all, we like Arkansas plus the 3 here. Florida Atlantic and Wisconsin. This opened up Wisconsin minus 36, those down to 31. Florida Atlantic's in Baton Rouge, so possible distraction from Hurricane Irma. Line is higher than 30, but the total 58 or less. Actually, she's the favorite at 194 and 159. And continue with some more notes. When the spread is 30 or higher and the total 58 or less, the favorite is 194 and 159, and it's going over at a 213 and 140 rate. Those angles would favor Alabama, Colorado, Florida State, Kansas State, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Wake Forest versus Boston College. BC starting center John Baker's out. He's made 27 straight starts, the most on the team, so that is big. True freshman Alec Lindstrom takes over. Houston, Arizona. Arizona starting tailback Nick Wilson is questionable. 8 carries for 87 yards versus Northern Arizona. Visit OffshoreInsiders.com for the best picks in the industry. OffshoreInsiders.com.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.